All right, here we go. Live from the world famous Peppermint Hippo, Coach's Corner, here with my famous sidekick.
Hi, it's Lolo. Hello, Lolo.
And I got one of my favorite TikTok influencers, Vegas Pauly. We're going to talk about some crazy shit this evening.
Well, hello.
And then I also have the Punisher. And when I say the Punisher, I'll give you a real brief story about this. For this year for the Ultimate Fighter, I was hired by the UFC to get all the fighters ready to go into the house. So the Punisher was one of the fighters that was trying out for the house.
Yes, sir.
Funny story. So I trained him the one day. Then the second day I trained him. The next guy was supposed to come in and he decided he didn't want to work out.
Yeah.
So the Punisher said, "Hey, coach, you want to give me in 3 more rounds?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, okay. So I gave him 3 more rounds, and I'll never forget finishing with him and calling Dewey on the phone. And Dewey was like, "I know that dude. I trained with him. You're right. He does have a great right hand." So, just give us a little of your pedigree, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm a guy that's from Macon, Georgia. I've been an athlete my entire life. I really have. I've been an athlete my entire life. I got into the fight game right after college. I played college football at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. And
What position?
I played fullback.
Okay.
I played fullback. In high school, I played defensive line. I played nose guard. Same thing like now, quick off the ball. Even though I was going against bigger linemen, but I was quick off the ball, fast, strong. I was really good. I won Defensive Player of the Year for the state. I led the state in sacks one year. Almost broke the Georgia State sack record my junior year. So I was blessed to do a lot of things athletically. But I got into this fight game 4 years ago when COVID hit. And when COVID hit, we didn't know if we was going to have a season or not. So I found this gym called the Gogi. And first day I step in, I never look back. So.
Okay, is that the coach from?
Yes, Coach Sterling Peace, yes. He's one of the first ones I met, Coach Sterling Peace.
Well, I got to tell you, Coach, working with him, you've done an outstanding job. And from what he just told me, you basically groomed him. So you did an outstanding job. He's an incredible athlete, and this is my prediction. Look the fuck out, UFC, because this young man is going to just destroy people. And I think you got a chip on your shoulder.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I would consider your chip basically like the Tom Brady chip.
Yes, sir.
You know, how he got drafted so long, but he was a superhero. And then Tom Brady would always say, I always had that chip every game, every season, because of how they drafted me. It took so long. And I think how many times did you fight in the Contender Series?
I have fought twice. This would be my 3rd time. I'm record-breaking. Nobody's ever won 3 times. Heck, nobody's ever won twice and didn't get the contract.
Yeah.
So I was the first one to do that. Or again, a record we got, but a record we didn't necessarily want. And now I have an opportunity to be the first ever guy to go 3-0 on the show. Again, a record we didn't want, but a record we're going to get. And again, I've always said it, and I say it continuously. If I keep winning, you can't deny me. And I'm going to keep going on there, whether it's on that show, wherever I have to do, to continue to keep winning and getting myself to that level that I know that I am. And I know I'm on a high level as an MMA fighter. And yes, I will say, the last performance wasn't necessarily the best performance, but again, it was against a good guy. And I'm still growing in this fight game. I'm going against guys that have 10 years, 12 years plus of experience.
Yeah. I mean,
So
here's my take with that. Like, I love the Contender Series and everything, but a fighter that's from Camp of Mars, Timmy Kwuma.
I know Timmy.
He fought. He won in the
did.
Contender
And
Series.
looked good.
And he broke his hand in the first round. And he still won against a very thing, but he didn't get in. He got in because it was short notice.
The short notice fight.
And he went up a division in weight. And he fought the week before. So I don't have a problem with the Contender Series, but my problem is this, is your last opponent was not just your regular Joe.
No, he was 6'5".
He was a 6'5". He's a complete fucking animal, though. I mean, just complete fucking animal. And Coach could contest to this. As coaches, we always want to finish. But first and foremost is the W.
That's right.
First and foremost, it's the jerk-offs that try to just worry about that. And the Contender Series kind of sets fighters up to you have to be so dominant in order to get in, which makes it exciting, but it doesn't make it realistic.
And I tell people about that a lot. You know, I did an interview not too long ago, and I was saying that I have seen a good bit of fighters go on that show. They get out of their realm of how they actually fight to take a few more risks to impress obviously the matchmakers, which is understandable, but they do that in spite of getting the contract instead of fighting their fight and just saying, man, the fighter that I am, I'm going to go out here and showcase it, and you're going to like me based off that.
Sure.
And I think sometimes you see a lot of guys get out of their element trying to impress, and then they get knocked out. Because you got to remember, this is your opportunity.
Right.
So you go out there, you get knocked out in the first round, which I've seen certain guys do, trying to impress. And then it's like, oh, they might not ever get that opportunity ever again. Now, granted, I have been blessed with 3. You know, I know people fight their whole careers to get 1. But I feel like the only reason why I've gotten to a 3rd opportunity is because I've continued to win.
Yes.
If I would have lost any of these, I never would have had an opportunity.
I agree.
So that's the other part of it that you have to look at, you know. So that's why I think winning trumps all. You can't deny a guy that continues to add up the W's.
I hate to even hear that word, Trump.
Oh my
We're both on the opposite end of the fence here. Me and your man constantly argue over that every day during our training sessions. Here, so you know, the deal is this: I think you're going to win without a doubt. I think you're going to be the sleeper that gets into the UFC and just wrecks people. I think your division and the way you're built is a deterrent of why it's not working. And I think that's so fucked up on so many different fucking levels because nobody can, no size, nothing could change. Like the guy you just beat was how big?
Yeah, he was 6'5", long, had a 79.5-inch reach. You know, the guy had long reach, you know, very tall.
And he was tough.
Yeah, he was tough. Look, he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, one of the grappling coaches at City Kickboxing. So I knew the stuff going in, the pedigree that he had. And, you know, I wasn't sleeping on him. I'm big on watching film. I'm big on studying my opponent.
Tendencies.
I'm big on that too. And I saw a lot of different things that guys did against him. Like one of his losses is to Jacob Malcon. If anybody knows who that is, Jacob Malcon's in the UFC. His other loss is to Issy Fatiku. Issy Fatiku is currently an undefeated fighter in 1 championship. So his only 2 losses is to 2 really high-level guys. You know, and then now I'm his 3rd. So, you know, like I said, another high-level guy. So
which
you
is
can't
a great
sleep
testament for you.
Yes, sir. So I don't sleep on none of these opponents, even like my upcoming one. Like, yeah, there's certain things I look at, but it's like I know what I'm able to bring to the table, and I know what I've beaten. I beat an undefeated Russian fighter last year. You know, I beat Cam this year. You know, I've beaten my fair share of good opponents. Heck, on Icon, I fought a guy named Ivan Batnich. Ivan, really good opponent, trained at AKA.
Really good.
A lot of good things with him. So, you know, I that's the problem that I do have with the Contender Series. But then again, my main focus is just go out there and continue to handle business. And I feel like for this fight, me personally, I feel just as comfortable and cool as ever. It's like I'm more comfortable in the fact that I just get to go out here and just fight. You know, because I'm not worrying about it. When you've dealt with getting no from him twice, potentially hearing a no a third time, I ain't gonna make it mad.
Also, the house.
That's right, and the ultimate
the rejection of that house.
Oh my gosh!
I
know.
I mean, here's a couple reasons I'm impressed with you. First of all, I just think that you're an excellent human being.
Thank you, bro.
You're a gentleman. I think mixed martial arts should cater to gentlemen and people that have a higher standard and just don't act like assholes.
Thank you.
2, you got a heart of a lion. 3, like I said, you just your talent is very hard to judge. Your range, you close range really quick and with devastating factor. And like I said, I give you lots of credit. I give your coach huge amounts of credit, huge amounts of credit because he molded you. Like the story, I didn't get all the story. Mm-hmm. You know, now that I got all this story, like, God damn it, Coach, you should be over here sitting down in this podcast with us.
Yes, sir.
By the way, his coach is very humble and is sitting over there, and I really respect that because if I was his coach, I would be all up in this shit right now because you are a stud.
Yes,
look. You got any questions?
Yeah, actually, so I stalked you a little bit. So it seemed like you were, I mean, you have insane drive. You're an insanely talented athlete. It seemed like you were really focused on football there for a little bit. What was that transition like for you, like mentally?
So it's funny I say this. Now I mean I still have my super huge love for football, but when COVID hit, along with certain injuries that I had, my love for football started to go away. Plus, we kept having so many coaching changes, and then just the coaching. You know how it is when you get to college and things start to fall off a little bit. And I still was a solid college football player. I was able to be all conference at fullback my sophomore year. So I still was able to do a lot of really good things there. But we started to switch to offense. Things started to change. Didn't see how much field, but it hurt.
Different coordinator.
And it also hurt me that I got injured. So my love for football was slowly I was losing it. And I was like, man. But then COVID hit, and I'm like, I'm just doing this final year of football just to do it because I know there's no back end for me. Like I knew there wasn't no NFL for me.
Was it automatic fall in love, or was there a feeling out period?
No, I fell in love instantly because I wrestled. So I went to high school and I wrestled at Jones
Coaches love getting wrestlers.
Yeah,
it solves a big problem. Because I mean, a lot of people don't realize this. Wrestling's the loneliest fucking sport on the face of the earth. It's such a grind. It's
a grind.
And
it is.
You got to be a special human being to make it to the college level as a wrestler.
Yeah,
you really do.
Yes, sir. You do. You're right.
It's a completely different animal.
Heck, it's tough. It's so tough. I mean, you ain't lying. I mean, heck, that's one of the reasons why I chose college football. So I did wrestle in college. Because one of the coaches asked me to come back to wrestle. He did offer me a scholarship. I did decline it. But I did have an offer one time to North Carolina.
Oh, and college.
Yes, sir. I had a lot of bigger colleges coming out of high school.
Colorado?
No, not Colorado. I didn't have that.
No, we Deion fans.
Yeah, Deion. Yeah, we watched that game today. That was a good game. Travis Hunter looked phenomenal.
That was an unbelievable game. I'm telling you, I think he gets a Heisman.
Yes, I think he's the best player in college football right now.
I mean, the shit he did on that football field today was amazing.
Defensively and offensively.
Today? Oh, my God.
Yeah, defensively and offensively, he looked really good.
I mean, would he play over 150 plays?
Yes. Had over 100-something yards, 2 touchdowns, and it had an interception.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And that pick was stupid good.
Jumping the screen pass, that was really good.
He jumped the route.
Yes, sir. But what I was looking at was the fact that, okay, I wrestled. I was a 2-time state champion. Senior year, I went 40-0. I got top 10 in nationals. So I was a solid wrestler coming out of high school, and I turned down North Carolina only because I'll never forget this. It was only a partial, but they had woke us up one morning. And wrestling is a lot different than like football camp. Wrestling, they bring you out for a week, and you do like a whole practice with that team and everything. They woke us up that next morning. They said, all right, we were running 12 miles on Chapel Hill. I'm like, 12 miles? I ain't never done that in my whole life. I run 12 miles Chapel Hill.
Marathon.
Yes. And if anybody knows anything about Chapel Hill and how steep that hill is.
It's very steep.
Oh, my gosh. It was awful. It was I still think it's the worst work I've ever done. It was awful. I hated every second.
How many hours did it take you?
It took me 2 hours and 59 minutes. That forever. I was last. I was absolutely last. I go in the room.
I'd still be running.
My whole body's cramping up. And the coach was like, we're going to continue to work on that, but we would like to offer you. I'm sitting thinking, offer me? I'm just there. I just say it. I'm like, offer me what? I don't want to do this. It's like, you'll get better at the run. When he said, you'll get better as a run as you continue to do it, it's in the back of my mind, not coming here. I ain't doing it. Because that means that's more than once. I got to do that again?
Yeah.
I don't care if I am in shape to do that. I don't want to ever do that again.
Let me ask you a question, though. As a fighter, are you doing your road work?
I don't run as much, but I do a lot of strength. When I do my strength and conditioning, we do a lot of things on cardiovascular stuff. So a lot of sprints in fashions of I got weighted stuff on me. I'm pushing sled. A lot of things on the bag. A lot of pushing the cardiovascular part. So I have a strength and conditioning coach. Fight conditioning.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like one of my things is like a lot of football strength and conditioning guys got into MMA, teaching them that, and not that I'm knocking it, but it's just not realistic. Do you know what I mean? Like when I make my fighters train, they'll push a sled, but after they push that sled, they have to go into defensive mode, shadow, throw punches.
Same.
Because
We do the same.
that's more realistic. What's going to happen?
Yes, sir.
The sled doesn't punch back.
No, you're right.
So you have to make it more realistic of what's going to happen inside the cage. You're not bringing a bench press in the cage.
No, we don't
You're
do
not
that as
bringing a
much.
squat machine in the cage. So you have to be able to handle that kind of pressure with your hands up, defending yourself.
Like we have this machine where we could put the pressure on how much it can like pull you. So I run sprints on this. I stop at one cone. I hit pads. He moves back. I go back. I run back. I run sprints
love that.
again.
That's
I
so
hit pads.
realistic, yeah.
So and the pass is only between like 10 to 15 seconds. And it's like me basically I'm hitting pads.
It's
and
the
keeping
burst.
It's the burst.
It's the burst
and
and
then stop.
exhaustion.
And exhaustion. And it is exhausting because you have to do it for 5 minutes. It's
Absolutely.
rough, and that's that. You want to try to
Paul,
fatigue
we got to
yourself.
get you to do an MMA session.
You want to get up at 4 in the morning?
No, I do not.
You either do that or you can run the 12 miles on Chapel Hill.
No, neither one.
Paul,
I like physical fitness, but the whole violence thing just doesn't do it for me anymore. Although, I wanted to ask you a question. How come you said to him that his stature is a problem? Like, to me, I would rather see someone who's, what are you, about 5'7"?
Yes, sir, 5'7".
I'd love to see someone 5'7" go at it. It reminds me of Tyson.
It's a very good point, Paul.
I don't
It's a very-
understand why he's not like, to me, it's much more exciting to see
his
guys who-
division. For that division, those guys are tall.
Yeah, but that's not cool. I don't think that. I like talking, look at this guy.
Oh,
This guy is exciting.
He's an absolute stud. I think that.
Yeah,
is
that's the word I would
I think
use,
it's going
yeah.
to be one of his attributes that he runs through the UFC because everybody's going to look at him like.
You remember how exciting Tyson was?
Yeah, exactly.
He's
well,
built
I
like
mean,
Tyson.
he's a lot like Tyson
A lot like
as
Tyson,
far as
yeah.
his power through his punches and his kicks. He kicks as hard as he fucking punches.
Yeah,
I know.
I have
Oh,
to.
we
People
saw
tell me
that
I have to
video.
use that more. Yeah, I have to use that more.
No, his leg kick. So when I train people, I wear a big leg shield, and when I was training the Ultimate Fighters guys, there was 26 guys I had to train
Yes, sir, you did.
per day.
Yes, sir.
And I literally had to stay there for 4 hours. One guy coming in for 3 5-minute rounds, and the next guy for 4 hours straight, no breaks.
Wow.
And I had some big dudes in there. Nobody hurt my leg more than him with the leg kicks.
But do you feel that, like, aesthetically, it's like hurting his career that he's not tall? Is that what you were kind of trying to say?
I think it's the thing that's not propelling him where he needs to be. But I truly believe that once he gets to where he needs to be, that chip on his fucking shoulder. See, guys like this, if you're just cool and everything's good, he's going to be good. But because the fact that he has a chip on his shoulder, it's in his DNA. Some people have it, some people don't.
Now, the chip is from him fighting twice and winning.
The chip is he should be in the motherfucking UFC. It's a fucking
So what do they do?
outrage.
They give you a contract?
Yes, sir.
Is that the way it works?
So
you won something cool twice, right? You beat like a whole bunch of guys.
yes, sir.
And normally nobody wins twice and doesn't get a contract.
Exactly.
So what are you doing, Dana? Forget about the baccarat. You know what I'm saying? Get over here. You're over there playing baccarat for hundreds of thousands of dollars a hand, and this guy, look at him. This guy's killing it.
Dana, listen, we are sick of your shit. This guy needs to be in UFC.
No, but I'm being being totally serious. Like,
I'm told. Listen to me. I was pissed off that night. Like literally, I literally.
so why do you think that they don't reach out to him?
I'm telling you, it's the fact that he didn't win in devastating factors, and that's why I don't like the series so much. I love Dana White. I know.
Is it like a minor league kind of thing? And then if you win that, you
No,
you
it's the elites.
It's a showcase?
You're elite if you
It's
get
hard.
to the Contender
I'm about to say
series.
it's hard to get there. Yeah, it's hard to.
It's
get
hard
there.
to get there.
They sound like picky bitches, Short kings need love too, okay?
Well, see. This is the thing, and it's funny you say that because my
He's
cousin.
thinking that short king shit.
My cousins would ask me. They said, because I was a really, really good football player, and it's like, would you ever wish if you were 6'3" or 6'4", be in the NFL? And I always said no. And the reason why I would say no, I said I probably wouldn't have that same work ethic if I was that size, because I've seen so many guys.
That's a chip I'm
That's
fucking
the chip
talking
he's
about.
talking about.
Guys
yeah.
are just
Guys,
big for nothing.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
This young man, because of that chip, I say this a lot to my fighters, and especially at the beginning of their career. They're like, "Oh, coach, I'm broke." I'm like, "Hold on to that, motherfucker. broke is good right now.
Yeah.
Because when you get in that cage and you got to fight to fucking keep your electric on and feed your fucking kid, you have an edge. His edge is he didn't get in when he deserved to be getting in. That's his edge. And he's going to, I'm telling you right now, he's going to win a world title and he's still going to have that fucking edge. He's never going to let it go. I just know that he won't.
Do you get a phone call and it says, well, we're going to offer you a contract? Is that the way it works?
No. So he goes on the. So you go on the show, which you'll see this Tuesday. I win, and then you sit in the chair, and he makes the decision based off that one fight.
When you say he, you mean Dana's on the show?
Yes, sir. Dana White. He's sitting right there, like we're sitting here.
How many people are sitting? It's like you and how
4.
many guys?
Yeah,
it's you and 3 other guys.
No, it's Dana, matchmaker, and Hunter Campbell.
But how many fighters are they looking at?
Oh, well, it's 5 fights, but they're looking at the person in the cage. So it's like 2 guys fighting. Yes, sir. So that one fight.
But you're kind of like sitting there in judgment of Dana, right? Or are there other fighters? In other words, are they picking you versus? Did they pick someone else? I guess.
Oh no. So everyone has an opportunity. Whoever wins the fight, everybody on the show can get a contract if need be.
So did they just say no to you? Like
I have been the last one sitting up there on that chair both times.
And they say no?
Yes.
Like N-O?
He'll go to each fighter that has won, and he was like, Finney. So what he said for me this past one, he said, Finney, I told you to go and get more fights, which, as we know, I couldn't do that because I was on the Ultimate Fighter, which I didn't get selected to be on.
Right.
So that's a little bit of part of the reason why they brought me back a third time. And then he said, your performance last year was better than your performance this year, and based off your performance this year, I feel you will get decimated in the UFC. So he made that statement.
Fuck that! Now you got to. I didn't even know that.
So he said that.
What,
so.
Dana? Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking
well, like
mind?
even your first fight, because your first fight in the UFC, I would think you would fight against somebody who was not, that particularly great.
Yes.
He's saying even like your first fight against someone who's not that great.
I mean,
that's where I.
Every fight in the UFC is a tough fight.
Yeah.
So you feel his first fight would be tough?
Every fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
There's not a fight in the UFC that happens.
How many fighters
that's
are
not
there in the UFC?
a tough fight.
So I'll say this. Yes, but also no. So like there's other promotions like PFL, like Bellator.
Okay.
And
Ring of Combat.
Titan. Yes.
These are other leagues?
Yes, sir.
CFFC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you have people in other promotions sometimes that are just as good as the guys within the UFC.
Uh-huh.
Now, because they might not fight within the UFC, they might not get that same respect. But I can guarantee you there's a lot of guys that is in PFL and Bellator or one that could beat certain guys in the UFC.
Look at the 2 heavyweights in the PFL.
Yes, exactly.
Francis and
yes.
Both of those guys would wreck people in the UFC.
So how come people don't consider the other? Like, how come you don't consider the other leagues?
Well, it depends on what your motives are. There was a time that I did get an offer from another league, and I was considering that because Dana did turn me down twice.
Right.
But they called me back. UFC obviously is the pinnacle, so it's the opportunity, and it's more like a part of the opportunities on the outside rather than inside the fighting. So if you go to like some of these other promotions, you make more money inside doing your job.
Right.
Where with the UFC, you can make a lot of money inside of the cage, but you can make just as much or even more money outside the cage.
Right, like doing clothing and sneakers and stuff
because
like
of the brand, because of the name that is attached to it.
Right.
So,
like you might get your own line of clothing wear.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Cool.
Sponsorship, promoting.
I got to do it. Torrez Finney. I had to do it. I have to
So
do it.
would you
I
guys
like it.
So would you guys say like for UFC fighters, it's as much about like being marketable as it is the talent?
In some cases, yes. So I'm not gonna look. Everybody that's in the UFC is good. I will definitely say that, but I definitely think there are certain guys in the UFC that are not up to the quality that they deem it to be.
I agree with that.
I would say that you see a lot of fighters that come in. Some come in on short notice. Some come in because, again, last year, look, no disrespect to this guy. There was a guy that was a taxi driver. He got 30-26, 30-26, 30-27. That's a blowout. That is a beatdown in an MMA fight. Because how good and tough he was, that he took a beating. Dana gave him a contract because it's like you took a hard-nosed beating, you fought hard, and you took a beating to a guy that was the guy was like a minus 800 favorite. So the guy couldn't finish him. So he said, I'm giving you a contract. Yeah. A year later, this year, he finally made his debut. Well, guess what happened? He got 30-27, 30-27, 30-27. He's not ready. He's not that good.
Yeah.
But yet, again, because of the marketability. Like, when he went back to Bolivia, I think he's the first ever Bolivian fighter to be in the UFC. He goes back. They throw a parade and everything for him, you know? So that's that publicity and that's that market they sometimes go for.
Pinnacle.
It is. That's some things they go for rather than, oh, I'm good. I'm on that level, you know? So, and it's no disrespect because I understand it's a business, you know? It is a business.
Yeah,
and you have to
it's
look
a
at those
business,
things.
but, you have something, just sitting next to you. You got charisma, you know?
So thank you.
He's got a lot of
You're so
personality.
sweet.
He's like really getting his, the whole
But
feel
I'm
out there.
telling
Like,
you-
I'm like, wow, this guy.
And-
Like,
and
I would like to
his-
see you in there just for the promotions that you would get.
I
you know,
agree.
so-
And his attributes are this. I mean, you saw the knockout. His attributes are this. He's here like this.
Right.
That cage door, this is a different motherfucker. That's a
But
different
he's got
motherfucker.
great charisma outside of the
No,
cage.
he's ripping off limbs.
That's where the demons hide.
He's taking Jaws home with him, and I'm telling you, he's gonna win this fight. That's my prediction. Whether he finishes the guys or not, he's gonna get in the house because I think the cards they're stacked in his deck because he just deserves to be in. And then when he gets in the UFC, and he has more time to study, more time to go over, he's going to start wrecking people. I mean, just wrecking people. And I look for him to come back on the podcast because he did our podcast first.
Yes, sir.
And it's an honor to have him here. And I just can't wait to see it, man.
Yes, sir.
But does Dana consider like personality and like the way
He
someone
does.
speaks and
He does.
and the way
All
he
right,
holds
so
himself? And
here's another thing. And
I mean, this
I'm
guy's,
just gonna. This is you shouldn't say out loud, but this is my
It's a question, I'm asking
this
a
is my
question.
motherfucking show, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
say
go
whatever the
ahead.
fuck I want.
Yeah.
preach, coach.
Because
Preach.
he's quiet. I'm gonna
I don't see
I'm gonna
that.
give you for
Okay,
instance,
all right.
Cody Covington,
Yeah,
great fucking fighter. They were about to kick him out.
they were.
They were going to kick him out of the UFC.
Why is that?
And he was winning
He was on a 4
he
or
was-
5 fight win streak.
because he acted like him. He was just a nice guy, but then he turned into a fucking big mouth, loud mouth motherfucker, and started calling Brazilians dirty motherfuckers and started doing
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, and then he got signed to a big deal.
That's better in the league.
Cody has lost his last 3 fights?
Yeah, he's lost his last.
He's
3.
lost his 3 fights, but he's still fighting in the UFC. What UFC fighter loses 3 fights and stays in the league?
Wait, so what you
Only
saying?
one I know right now is Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson.
It's better to be politically incorrect in the UFC. Is that what you're saying?
If you're
To
outgoing,
be obnoxious.
if you can trash talk,
I call it the Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I
case.
was just about to say
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
It's a Conor McGregor. And listen, I love Conor McGregor, but there was a part of me when he came in like, shut up, you fucking leprechaun. Just shut the fuck up and fight. You know what I mean? Just shut the fuck up. I mean, because his talent was there.
Right,
talent was good.
But what made him the money is the talk. And that's what they want.
That's what they want.
I think the UFC has a bit of that fake wrestling bullshit that they kind of want to
Right. I understand what you're saying.
And I get it. It's all about money. I mean, look at Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
example.
You know what I mean? Like, and I can't hate on the dude.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't hate on the dude because he's making huge paper, and whoever he fights makes huge paper, more than they're making in the UFC.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Tyrone Woodley made more money in that one fight than he did 10 fights in the UFC.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Then they're going up against, was it Logan or Jake that went up against Tommy Fury?
Logan.
No,
No,
that was Jake.
Jake. That was
That
Jake.
was Jake.
Oh my God. I was just,
Yeah.
I was like, if Tommy doesn't fucking win this.
Yeah. I mean,
I know it was tight. It was a split decision actually. But that's the thing is like even you see a lot of MMA fighters transitioning to the boxing realm because of the payday. And you're right. You asked the question. Why would somebody forfeit the payday to go to the UFC? And you see a lot of people that do that. There was a guy that just got signed from One. He was like, I was making definitely a lot more money in One than
and I
I'm
think,
about to make on
I
my
think
first.
one's a real tough league.
It is.
I mean,
It is.
One's no bullshit league. I think they're just as competitive.
Yeah, I agree.
One.
They have so that's what I'm talking about. It's like there's a lot of really good talent all over the world. So yes, and this is a part of my case of getting to the UFC. It's like if you deem you have the best talent in the world, and I continue to beat every single thing you put in front of me, that you're matchmaking, that you're picking, then what does that say? Like, do you want to have the best in the world, or do you want to have the most entertaining or exciting in the world. You
It
know,
all
change
comes
up
down
that
to the
world.
paper.
It does always come down to the
And
money.
like I said, I've said this my whole life. I'm literally from the ground up with the UFC. I came up with JSAP, the first mixed martial arts, where Dana met the Fertitta brothers. I saw what Dana did. As far as I'm concerned, Dana White is responsible for putting hundreds of thousands of people to work because they were going to outlaw all this. If Dana didn't have that mindset of getting rules and putting it in the right perspective, we would not be here right now. It was. Remember, it just got legal in New York. What, 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's true.
It was illegal to do mixed martial arts. That's why Ring of Combat was so big, because all those New York guys had to drive down to Atlantic City. Chris Weidman started on Ring of Combat.
That's right.
Ring of Combat must have over 100 UFC fighters.
Yep. Uriah Hall.
Who
else they had? They had a lot. You're right.
Jeff Lentz.
Yep. They had a good bit.
Who's the other guy? The wrestler. There was a couple of them. Henry Cejudo. They gave him Ring of Combat.
So yeah, they had a good bit, but you know, Ring of Combat was one of those guys. Because I remember when I was young, I would see Ring of Combat like flashing on the pay-per-view stuff because I remember when they used to call
Lou Neglius. It was Lou Neglius. Yeah,
that's a good one. They used to call MMA human cockfighting. You know, like how they do the chicken fighting and stuff. So that's what they would call it.
Yeah, I remember.
And they would call
John
it
McCain.
Jesus.
Yeah,
John McCain made that statement in front of Congress.
Yeah, he did.
He said it's like human cockfighting, and you know, I believe that, and I love John McCain. I thought he was an amazing senator, great person, but he was completely wrong on that statement. It's an art form.
It is.
Mixed martial art fighters, to me, are the toughest athletes on earth.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this too. I'm going to put my little feminist hat on, but you talk about, you know, a sport that really championed female athletes, that really made a brand for female athletes.
And Dana was so against it at first.
He was.
And
He said, "I'll never have a female fighter."
remember, he made that statement. Then Ronda Rousey came along, which I thought was a complete farce because Ronda is this Olympic judo, jiu-jitsu specialist, and then she's fighting girls that can't even spell judo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why when she's competed against that high level.
Yeah, I mean, when Holly Holm, you know, you finally met somebody.
I made so much money in that fight.
You did? Wow.
Oh, I made so much money in that fight.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, look at any other sport. I mean, men tune in to watch female fighters, like, and champion them and are legitimate fans.
Some of the female fighters got better technique than the guys.
Yeah, they do. They have to actually. So you hear it all the time. Women have to sometimes focus more on technique because you don't really see women sometimes out strengthening the other women. It happens, but you know, because they have to train so much with males, they have to focus more on technique to get things across rather than just strength.
Amanda Nunes in American Top Team. I was training there for about 3 months, and I knew that she was going to be a champion because every day that they were doing sparring and a girl came over to her and she would say, "Get the fuck away from me, bring me a man."
Wow.
She would never spar with the women.
Wow.
She wanted to fight a man in her weight division every single time.
Wow.
And that's why Amanda Nunes is Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because she went against that man's strength all the time.
That's good.
Buddy, what's your prediction for Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, I feel really confident. You know, I always say this, that, you know, I never go in there with a prediction. I always go in that I'm going to always come out with my hand raised. I'm really confident with his matchup. His name is Abdullah Arami. He's a Muay Thai guy, kickboxer, high guard, walks to try to close the distance.
Easy takedowns.
Yes, sir. I don't think he's going to be ready for my style. He's never faced a true going forward type wrestler like me. And I think it's going to allow me to open up more of my game. I know my last 2 Contender Series fights, which again, that's a part I have with Contender Series. Like, you're getting 2 high-level guys with a little bit similar skill set. And you say, oh, well, this one should go. Who going to dominate the other? Yuri, solid fighter, brown belt, Russian, been grappling ever since he was young. The last guy, brown belt, been grappling ever since he started. You know, and then I also doing at City Kickboxing. So the styles and matchups for this was just different. This guy, He's probably going to be a little strong, and I don't think overly explosive, but I think once I get him to the mat, I was going to allow me to rain down a lot of ground and pound. It's going to be really hard for him to do a lot.
Yeah, and the thing with mixed martial arts, if you do your due diligence with your feints and changing your levels, that kickboxing goes right out the fucking window.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know what I
sir,
mean?
you're right.
Especially if they're real traditional kickboxing.
Yeah, he's here,
Yeah.
tight.
So the minute you start changing that levels, and how tall is he?
He claims to be 6 foot, but after doing one of the interviews with the guys at the UFC, he said that he is not 6 foot. He said at best he might be 5'10", 5'11". So he could be 5'10", 5'11",
So
or
this is
more
a really good
5'9".
matchup for you.
Yes, sir. He's near my height and everything. Yes, sir. So
Where's this fight?
at the UFC Apex.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Over here, right in,
Yes,
in
sir.
Vegas.
I'll get his. Paul, you want to go with me?
I'll be in New York. I would love to
wanna
go
go
there.
with
Hell yeah. I have nothing better to do.
All right,
Go.
We'll be there.
So what weight will you be fighting at?
185.
Wow.
Right now I'm about 203, 204.
Wow. See, now that's a great question.
Yeah, you do the.
It's what,
I'm
Saturday
waterboarding
night?
right
you
now.
do the salt bath.
Yes, sir. I do some of that. We got the sauna blanket,
Mummy-
the sauna.
mummy-
You have to lose 18
Afterwards?
pounds between now and Tuesday?
That's the part of the sauna blanket.
Jesus.
You have to lose 18 pounds between now and Tuesday?
Yes, now and Monday.
I have
What day is
Ozempic.
it?
I have Ozempic you
Monday.
can
You
borrow.
gotta make weight the
Wait a
day,
second.
day before.
In
fight.
18
No one
hours,
cares.
you have to
No one
lose
cares.
18 pounds?
Yes, sir. A pound an hour. Let's get started.
You have to lose a
you.
pound an hour?
At this rate, yes, sir.
That doesn't seem crazy to anybody in this room.
No.
No,
I mean, I'm a fight
really.
coach. I've
18?
taken. 23,
How do you get rid of it?
I've taken 23 pounds off fighters.
So tell us how you lose 18 pounds in 18 hours.
Well, one, I'm going to start a lot lower than where I'm at right now. So hopefully I'm starting around 200 or 199. But it's slowly, you sweat it out. A lot of sauna, salt baths, as he say.
It's absence.
blankets.
It's absence of that. So what they do is they put as hot as you can take it water, 2 bags of Epsom salt. I would take a half a bottle of mint alcohol and put it in there. You put the fighter in there and he sits there for 30,
photo
40
shoots
minutes.
later.
Once he comes out of it, we put towels all over him, put him in a cocoon, and he lays there for another 45 minutes. And it just sweats
Wow.
right off. Or you can put him in a sauna and credit card swipe him. You take a credit card and you guy's in the sauna and you just keep on swiping his skin.
That was
That-
immediately
that's-
where my head went.
I'm so glad we had this part of the conversation. It's the most interesting thing that I've heard this evening.
It is
Credit card swiping.
people have
yeah.
people have no idea how intricate fighting is.
I thought that was
Like
some
they
kind
have
of fraud.
no idea.
You know what I
There's
mean?
there's so much to do it. I never liked the fact that they stop the IVs. I thought that was.
I think that's
I just don't understand. I don't like the fact they don't let oxygen in the rounds, in between rounds. I think those are all things that make a fighter healthier. So to take it away from them is kind of stupid, I thought.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what do you think of the club, Peppermint Hippo?
This is nice, man. I saw coming in. I saw like the whole how the club was orchestrated. It was a really nice place. Man.
Are you going to stay for October 5th?
What's October 5th? I don't think I won't be able to stay October 5th. You know, UFC, they're quick with it. They get you in the fight, they get you out really fast. So I don't know. I won't be able to, but I'll see. I'm thinking about coming back. You know, to do all the skill working stuff at the PI. You know, granted, I get the contract. So yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're always welcome. I
Hell
have
yeah.
from one of our sponsors. You got the Peppermint Hippo shirt.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This is Manly Low detergent.
Oh man, thank you so much.
And
Yes, sir.
then This is the bag of conditioner. This is special detergent. It's called Manly Loads.
Okay,
Alright,
manly
yes, sir.
loads. Got it.
Why?
Wait, what's it called?
Manly,
Manly
loads.
What?
I gotta see the name. I don't know.
Manly load.
Manly Loads.
You don't want her to do your Manly Loads?
I love doing manly loads.
I'm in a monog, you know. I don't know.
All the time.
Let me see that.
So listen, I'll tell you the backstory.
Oh, it's a drink.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's detergent.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell
Laundry
you the backstory
detergent
on
for
this.
men.
I know the owner. I started training the owner about a year and a half ago. And literally every day I smelled this guy and I'm like, oh my God. So one day I'm like, I said to him, like, listen, this is going to come out really weird, but what kind of cologne do you have? Because it absolutely smells magnificent. He goes, I invented this detergent. And I just, that's all I have. I have the detergent. I'm like, you gotta put this shit out to market. So literally he took what I said and he's my number one sponsor. He pays for all this.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and all my fighters, when you use this, you can have the sweatiest gi, the worst shit that you've ever had in your entire. It's all biodegradable, and it smells magnificent.
Wow.
The reason why he invented it is because
use this.
his wife's an MMA fighter in China,
Oh.
and he invented it because the detergent that they would use would make his skin and his wife's skin break out. So he's kind of like a scientist. So he invented it. So we're going to give you this stuff.
Yes, sir.
Just do me a
Thank you
favor,
very
look
much.
into the thing and say Manly Loads.
Hey, thank you very much, Manly Lows.
Wait, should you look at her and say Manly Loads?
Oh man! But thank you very much, Manly Lows,
Jesus Christ.
for the
What did I
gear.
sign up for here?
Oh, I knew.
But we're excited about you. We're excited about. Well, we're gonna be there cheering you on.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
Can't
yeah.
wait for you to come back. I know you got to go because
Yes, sir.
you had to squeeze this in. Once again, thank you so much for doing that. When you come back in town, please give me a call. We'd love to
will.
bring you back on the podcast. Also, would love to go and film you at the PI and your
Yes, sir.
training and
Yes,
do all
sir.
that stuff.
Come on. Yes, sir.
All right, so we're just going to look at the camera. Everybody's going to say Peppermint Hippo, Coach's Corner. 1, 2, 3.
Peppermint Hippo, Coach's Corner.
Let's go.